Hello, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr., and I was born July 4th, 1986. Today, I'm going to talk about something that sometimes we only want to hear what we want to hear, but we don't want to hear what we need to hear. And that concept, to me, is just getting to the point of disaster today. And today, everybody just wants to hear what they want to hear to make them feel good, to make them think that everything that they're doing is just so right and so amazing and so awesome. That sometimes that can be a great thing. But another thing is that can be an absolutely disastrous thing that we're constantly doing, to constantly keep allowing ourselves, making ourselves think that everything is just good to go. When someone is looking at you and they're watching your life progression just keep getting worse and worse in a way of, like, say, going to drugs, and going to alcohol, and going to prostitution, and going to gambling, and going to some things like that, that we can see what's going on when you used to do it once or twice. Now you're doing it twice or thrice. Now you're doing it every day. Now you're doing it multiple times a day. Now you can't do anything because you're just obsessed over that, and you can't quite get yourself to do anything else. Like, we as a people can see when that's happening to somebody. We just look over there and watch it. You know, we have a family member, and I'm pretty sure that everybody in their family's got someone that's done something like this, has been involved in something that you saw them one day, and you're like, that's a nice, good person right there. And then you saw the next time that things got weary, things got complicated, and then you just keep seeing them over and over, and keep seeing the just depression that comes on, the downfall of them start to happen, and you have it in you to just almost in reality ignore it, because when you say anything to them about it, they just look at you and just, I'm fine, you shut up, look at you, and they start pointing out flaws that you have, and you're just like, I know I have flaws, I know I'm not perfect, I know I have issues, but I see something specific going on with you that is just leading you downhill, and I know that if you just keep going this route, that things are going to look really, really bad for you, that it's going to be really, really hard for you to get out of it, and it may be too hard for you to get out of it, that you may just be stuck with it forever, to the point that it's gonna harm you. It's gonna harm you more than just taking all your resources and taking everyone away from you. It's gonna harm you more than taking all your time and taking all your meaningful time, and take all your relationships away. It's gonna do more than just that it can lead to the point that it kills you in the end. And we can see that. We see that when that's going on with somebody. We're just like, dude, you started happy and fun on the drugs and the alcohol, and now the alcohol is just consuming your whole world, that you can't function. You can't do anything unless you have it. You can't go anywhere unless you have it. You can't speak to anybody unless you have it. It's like that's something that I know is easy for us to just be able to see. And in most cases, you know, we kind of in reality don't do anything about it because you can't. And that person is just going and going. And that's the thing that I personally see with other items that go on this planet, that go on in this world, that a lot of times we're sitting here wanting to help somebody, but you can't, because they don't see a fault in it. They see it's like when you tell someone to smoke some cigarettes, stop smoking some cigarettes. They're like, there's two sides of it. One person say, I know I need to quit. And the other person just can't quit because they say to themselves, like, it helps me. It gets me to get to the next 20 minutes. Because I'm struggling right now, that I need this so that I can get another 20. And then I can smoke another one to get another 40. So I can smoke another one to get another 5 minutes. And they just keep going like that, thinking they need that to be able to survive. That they don't want to stop it because they think that's the thing that's keeping them alive. Same with the gambling addicts, same with the alcohol addicts, same with the drugs, same with everything. It's kind of the way that I really come to notice that it really works in the majority of people's minds. You think you need it to be able to make it to the next step. You need to prostitute yourself so that you can finally be able to live for a week and feel a little confident about yourself. You need to do all these things so that you can make forward another day. And it's something that is like such a great lie that's going on this planet. That we're doing things that are disastrous to us, that you don't need to do, and you have it in your mind that you need it. But it's easy for us to see that, though. You know, when you're not an alcoholic and you start to see one of your family members start to become that, it's very easy to figure out what's going on here. Even a child can figure this out. 5-year-old kid can look at their parent or look at an aunt or an uncle and just be like, this you're going too far. And then in reality, what kind of happens to the kid in the kid's mind? They kind of look at them like the fun one, like the cool one. And a lot of times things can get complicated in the future of that kid's life to think that their parents are just strict and ruthless and evil. And then that kid thinks that, I want to go to aunt's house because she's just fun and she's great. And then you go there and then you realize that was actually a lie. That wasn't real. That was based on a small little snippets of what you saw of them. That wasn't the actual whole reality. That was just a little bit that you saw. You didn't get to see and get to interact with all of it. And those lies are being shown and pushed to us so much today. So much that it's easy to just ignore it. Because it's like, you know, that's their life. They gotta get what they get. They'll figure it out. I don't know why, but today I just had it in me of just realizing that as much as I have a desire in me to want to try and help some people out, being able to read this Bible, because in reality I started helping myself, and then I started to realize, like, this is actually real. This is actually helping me out. This is actually bringing me somewhere. This is actually getting me out of the things that I shouldn't be a part of. So I just never forget my dad's face when he looked at me. It was just a face of, like, he was sad for me when he realized that I started smoking. And I don't know why, I've just been thinking about that today, but it's something that has just hit me heavy on just realizing it was like, he knows where that leads. He knows what that does. He knows where that would bring me. The sun looks really cool in the camera. I hope it'll be all right. I don't want to change it. I'm satisfied with where I'm at. That's a funny thing to say right now. Satisfied with where I'm at. But I've just started reading the Bible more of, you know, I kind of knew it. I had a good understanding of it to help myself. And then I started really digging deep and researching to figure out how to be able to help somebody else out. And then I think that I've come to realize that I don't know what happened today. That, you know, I've been reading this constantly, all day, every day, over and over, trying to learn more about it, figure out more about it, to help someone out. But if someone doesn't want that help, what is the point? If someone doesn't want to hear the information, why are we screaming and yelling and putting it all into them? And they don't want it. So what's the point? That's kind of, I don't know why, but the book of Ecclesiastes is one that really gets me thinking every time I listen to it. And I'm headed to the next book after the book of Job today that already has me thinking about what that book already says. That you know, majority of everything out here is meaningless. It just really puts a lot of thought in me about why I've been studying, researching, and taking so much of my time away to figure out how to speak something to somebody. Because I can see that you're hurting. I can see that you're in pain. I can see that you need something. I can see that you're seeking something, but you just can't quite get your hands on it. And maybe it's because someone that's been trying to give you the information has been doing it in a wrong way, and it got you discouraged, and it made you made you push away. But I just have it in me to figure out how to be able to, like, say it in a different way that someone will be able to understand it, and someone would actually want to come to it, and someone would actually believe it the same way that I do, the same way that when I read that book, I believe it 100%. You don't need anybody to help you read it. You just need to read it. Pick it up and start getting in it and start understanding it. But I've just come to notice that I'm spending so much time to try to get someone else to just learn more about it. That's kind of a lose-lose case scenario that I've come to realize, because how is it that you're able to help? This is an interesting thing right here. How is it that you ever are able to help that alcoholic out that's deep in it? Like, alcoholic is a loose term today. Majority of people today drink on a day-to-day basis. That doesn't mean you're an alcoholic. Some people are drunk from morning to evening. I still don't believe that means that you're an alcoholic. I think the term alcoholic just depends upon what it is that your mindset is putting by it. If you're drinking just to drink and chill out and do what you do, that's one thing. But if you're drinking because you think that you're going to die if you don't drink it, you think that you won't be able to survive, you think that you won't be able to get anything done, you think that you will never have any sort of creativity if you don't have it, that you need that substance in you to be able to communicate to people, to do your work, to do anything. Now you're running into the case where you're kind of an alcoholic at that time. But if you're still able to do what you're able to do without it, and you know that you can, that's, I don't know. So many people today just drinking is so normal. And I don't know, I just, in reality, don't see anything wrong with it. I just don't do it. It's too much resources to waste, to drink it, to pee it. Same with smoking. You smoke it in, you blow it out, and then what? So much money just thrown away. Where I noticed that when I quit all those things, I've got extra resources to be able to take care of stuff to help me grow on this planet. But when you come to that person and you're like, hey, you need to stop, you need to quit, I see where this is going, I see what's happening here, and that person is going to deny and reject you up, down, all the way around. Then they're going to start lying because, they're fine with it as long as you don't say anything. But as soon as you say it and it's open and it's all out there, then they start lying. Did you have a drink today? And they're like, oh, no. Have you drank at all this week? No. I don't drink like that anymore. You can come to my house, I threw all the bottles away. All they did was just hid the bottles. All they did was just change the cartons of the bottles to make it look like there aren't any there, but that apple juice bottle is actually some whiskey in there. And you really start to get on them about it because you can see the downfall that it's bringing to them. That they're starting to get forgetful, they're starting to get into car accidents, they're starting to get lazy. They used to be like on it, on time, and really, really good, real persistent people, and then they start to just get destroyed. And when you go to that person, they reject you. I'm telling you, they reject you. They reject you 100% of the time. I used to, I don't know what it was with me with watching a whole bunch of these, those intervention shows. We all got our shows and our things we watch. Some people like the crime stuff, and some people like the crime abuse stuff, and some people just like fairy tales. And that I liked watching drug interventions and alcohol and substance abuse interventions, and watching how these people act and react and what they do and when they go through rehab and how they keep up with it, if they keep up with it. And I had someone really close in my life that was working with me that I saw an absolute amazing transformation, going from can barely function to being able to get up and do his own stuff. And it's all go right back to the same thing again in the end. It just made me question, why you go back? But when you that person doesn't want any help, because that person in reality doesn't think that they need any help. Dang, we got all jammed up. I think I'm all blurry and stuff. I'm gonna move right there. And a lot of times when we sit here and think that, ooh, shucks, I'm trying to help these people, that they don't really want the help. And they don't want the help until it gets to the point of just, it's absolutely devastating, to the point that they can't, the best way that they really get that help is when they get to the point that they can no longer get the resource that they are needing. They no longer have the funds to be able to get the alcohol or the heroin or the cocaine or the meth or the marijuana or anything that they're needing. They no longer have the money for it, and they no longer can bum money off of anybody anymore. They no longer can lie and manipulate and try to act like that's not where the money's going and what they're doing. And they run into a situation that they don't have the funds, and they don't have any sort of resource to get it. And then that's the situation where, in most cases, they finally are like, I need help. I need help. And then once they get that help, they just go right back to it again. Because as soon as they get the help, they start to get resources. They start to be able to get the funds required. And then as soon as those funds start to come to them, they go right back to the same old thing again, because it wasn't real. It wasn't a real desire to quit. It was just trying to throw up a treaty flag, but just saying, I have to stop for now, and I got to figure out another method. And then they find that method out, and then they just go right back to it again. And in reality, it's not smooth, it's not nice, it's hard. They go back in it deep. You know, I see that a lot with when I start reading my Bible and I start seeing the ways that we're going and the things that we're doing, the things that we're pursuing, and the things that we're posting and the things that we're putting on the YouTube about. It just really, it lets me know that you're needing some help. Even some people that say that they're doing the same thing I'm doing, is writing and talking about this and trying to spread a good message, and our messages are something where we got to figure out how to have a back channel on the YouTube that we can privately communicate with each other without it being out there for everyone to see, so that we can help each other out in a way. Because a lot of us are not in a position to be able to, I don't know what word to use right there, but we'd like to keep private. We'd like to stay private. A lot of people I know that are deep with what they're doing right now like to stay really private, because the more public that you keep putting yourself, the more problems that seem to want to come to you. So you like to stay private. But it's something that I just noticed, that a lot of times we're out here doing what we're doing, and I can see that you're needing some assistance. I can see that you need some help. I could just see it. I could see it. And I know someone could say that to me. I could see where you're falling off, Mark. I could see what's happening. And it's a very interesting thing that we can see that with people, but we can't quite see that with our own selves. When we ourselves are in that situation, when we're just falling completely down, falling completely away, just getting destroyed, just destroyed. We don't see that we ourselves are in any problem, any fault, any challenge, any sticky circumstances, just everything is good to go. Until it gets to the point of last absolute devastation. And it's just something to me that it's confusing, but it makes sense, but it's more confusing than it makes sense to me. Because I question myself, like, why have I still not gone back to the things that I used to do? Why have I finally just said, I don't want it? Because I could be around it. I've even tested and challenged myself with a lot of things. Putting myself around alcohol and just having ease of access. Putting myself around marijuana, just you smoking it right there in my face, and I just don't want it. Put myself around in other situations that just really used to tempt me a lot, and I'm just like, I don't want that. I don't care for it at all anymore. I just question, like, why has that been my life? What happened in my life that has made me just completely say kick the habit and move forward, and then at the same time being able to see and watch and recognize. But I do know those days that I was out in this house and running around out here and doing some things that are absolutely savage to try to figure out how to be able to just stay alive another day. Now, no one even said that to me, but I think that's the main thing behind all this. I can't say anything to get you to get away from the addictions that you're allowing to just consume your world. I can't say anything to you about it. I can't bring a right message to you. I can't convince you of anything other than what it is that you see to be the truth that you're in. That's where, for me today, I just really got calmed, relaxed, humbled, because that's God's job. It's not my job. I have a job to do. I'm still trying to 100% figure out that job, which what I do here is part of my job. But the remainder of my job for the remainder of my day can't just be to just keep studying and researching the Bible to get to the point of starting to have it memorized, which is kind of one of my life goals right now. A life goal that's changed. I used to have different type of life goals that were more interesting, but I don't know. I have it in me to have something selfish about me, that I want to memorize something that I don't know if that is actually going to help anybody or not at this moment right now, but it just lets me know that it just should be done. But I got real relaxed today with knowing that I'm not and ever going to be able to come out here and read a story that's in that Bible and make that story entertaining enough for someone to listen to that needs it, to be able to actually help you out of what you're struggling with. I can't do that. I can't possibly do that. And if you completely reject God, you completely reject the Spirit that God wants to be able to place on your heart so that you can be able to understand Him, then you will never be able to understand what I'm saying. You'll never be able to hear it. You'll listen to some words, but you'll never have it in your heart to be able to just receive that information. You're going to hear me talk about some stories that are just meaningless. It's like, this dude's still talking. He's still going. He's still talking about this book, this stupid, meaningless book. And to me, there was a day and a time that I would say, even yesterday, if you would say that to my face, I might get a little irritated. Like, who the heck are you to say that this book is meaningless and pointless? But today, I don't care if you think my book is pointless and meaningless. I don't care if you don't like me because I believe in the book. I don't care if you want to try to stone me to death because of the things that I believe that are in that book. That society today is really wanting to stone me based on what it is that I believe. They just don't want to put it out there yet. They're working on it. Because I believe that there's a man and a woman. I believe that children should obey their parents. I believe that we should obey God. I believe that a husband should obey his wife and a wife should obey her husband. I believe that we as men and women are different. And we should not ever try to be doing the same stuff. We have what we have that's better, and we complement each other based on what someone else is better with that someone else is struggling in. I believe that there's never going to be a good, solid, quality, positive relationship on this planet unless both of y'all believe and have the fear of God inside of you and live by that regardless. Regardless of what you see out there, regardless of what's going on, regardless of what people bring to you. They can't change, they can't put doubt into you. They can't bring anything to you that can slow you down from thinking that God is not real. Like, I don't know what anyone could possibly do today for me to think that God's not real. Like, what could you do? I don't know. Got all this talk today about these UFOs and all this stuff going on that I don't know why that's fake, people. I don't know why I can say that that's fake. That I know 100% fact that that's fake. That if one did just come right here and just plop down and looked at me and it wasn't like me, because that's God is like me, or I am like God. We go back and forth because there's something that God definitely needs from me, based on putting me here. So we are both surviving, trying to do something for each other. We both need something done. And if I saw something to come down that just looked like a lizard man, I'm gonna just say, that's strange. But that still wouldn't make me not believe in God. That would just make me think like, we as humans are pretty smart and clever with what we're able to do. Like, we created a lizard man. Because that's nothing new under the sun in reality. We've been mixing humans and lizards and humans and rabbits and humans and rats and dogs and rats and pigs, and we've been mixing all this stuff. So it's nothing that we couldn't be able to make. That still wouldn't convince me that God isn't real. And I would never bow down and worship it. Because if it's walking this land, there's no way I could bow down and worship. It's nowhere near as good or as gloriful or as powerful as God. Because God could not just be right there himself. He could bring Jesus to do such a thing. But God himself, if something came down and said, I am God, I am the creator of this land, and it was like walking in my fields right there, I'd have to laugh at him. And of course, he'd probably have to kill me at that moment. But it just is what it is. I don't think anything can change that. But there's a lot of things that I believe that our world today doesn't want me to believe anymore. It wants to really just shut me down. And that's gotten me today to really just calm down and relax and be extremely humbled. Just realize that the things that I was like, in reality, fighting so hard for. Reasons why I've been doing so much research and reading and understanding and just consuming my world in God, consuming every second of my life, every second of my existence today, has been just trying to understand, trying to get closer to, and trying to just be able to figure out how to speak about him to someone else, to be able to help somebody. But if you don't want God, there's nothing I can say to be able to bring him closer to you. So it's really let a lot of pressure off of me. And I think that that's the main reason why I've really been able to just really calm down and relax so much. Because that's too much for me. It's not even that it's too much, but it's not my job. It's God's job. And God has worked upon me to get into a position to be able to do what I do for I don't know what reason still. But I just know that there's going to be some people out here that have to do something. They're going to have the skills to be able to do some things. Because me being out here isn't just some weird coincidence of some ego trip of me of thinking that I want to be on a farm. Because in reality, everybody that I speak to about doing this, they're just like, dude, you're stupid. So it's not some sort of recognition that I'm looking for being out here, because nobody cares. Nobody cares. I tell people that I raise some chicken and they just look at me like, dude, you stupid. People straight said that to my face. And if they're not straight saying it, I can see in your body language of like, wow, why you got cows, dude? That's so silly. Why are you playing with some stupid goats? Doesn't it smell? Isn't it hard work? So me being out here is for a specific reason that, I don't know. But I do know one thing. This is the power of what I'm going to say is who God is. I don't care what you've done to me. I don't care if you call me stupid straight to my face about what it is that I do. I still got some food for you. I still figure it out. I still got some way to be able to teach you some skills so that you can get your own food. I still got ways to be able to figure out how to be able to do an overabundance as fast as I can so that you can start yours to be able to have it over there and you no longer need me. And a lot of times, the only way that we're really going to be able to come to understanding who God is when extreme tragic happens to us. That it's to the point of going back to the only reason you quit the alcohol was because you couldn't buy it anymore. And then when you finally had money again, you just went back and bought it again. It's going to have to get to the point that you can't buy it anymore because you don't have the money. And then when you finally do get the money, you're just never going to have enough to be able to go and get it and be able to get a part of it. That you're going to be living a life that's just such scarcity that every one of your pennies is going somewhere that you don't have anything extra at all to keep you to stay away from it. And that's where I feel like that's who God is. Because that's how in reality, I quit. I kept getting the animals and kept this and kept that, and I ran a situation. I was like, I quit because I don't have any money for it. Then I finally had some. And then I had it on me to just call it a dealer and be like, hey man, let me get another one. And then something happened, and I don't remember what happened, but I was like, I got either this or either that. And I was like, if I buy those drugs right now, I'm gonna be in a sticky situation here, because it was food. It was food for something. And I was like, I need the food, or they're gonna die. So I had to make a sacrifice of, am I gonna die from not having this, or my animals are gonna actually literally die from not having it? And I was like, the animals are gonna overrule me, because I'm not actually gonna die if I don't have that. I'm gonna be hurting. I'm going to be struggling. I'm going to be irritated. I'm going to be pissed off some days, probably all day. But I'm not going to die, and I'll be all right. And then that's when I really realized, like, no, I actually am going to die. I actually am. I actually am headed to the point that my thoughts are getting crazy, and I've been on this for like 4 or 5 years or so, and I'm gonna just try to quit, stop right this second, right here, right now, think that we're just done. And I literally did get to the point of like, I'm gonna die. But yeah, somehow I made it through it. I made it through it, and then for, about a year? About a year, everything was lined up so that I could never have enough to go and get it. And then one day I just totally forgot about it. Then I realized I don't need it. But no one on this planet could say to me, you need to stop that. You need to get away from that. It was my own desire. People would send me different passages and say, hey, this is going to help you, that'll help you. I know you're struggling, this will help you. And I would just reject it. It's just, you stupid. And I don't know why, but I just see as majority of people today is just look at God as that way. He's just stupid. He ain't going to do nothing for me. He ain't never done nothing for me. He ain't never going to bring me nothing. He ain't never going to get me out of nothing. Just meaningless. And I can't speak to you. I got nothing for you. And then when I really pay attention to, I had to do some research on what's getting seen the most. What are people paying attention to today? What is the thing that's just really motivating people to just want to keep on consuming that content and that information? And I realized it's just pointless TV shows and movies that are all about violence. Just kill, 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 shoot up, battles, fighting. Tragedy. People, even in the dog community world, just showing videos of your dogs that are chewing up your entire house, laughing. This is funny. Look, my dog just chewed up my $3,000 couch when I went to go get some tacos earlier, and posted a video to get 100,000 likes on it. Like, that's funny. That's entertaining. That's cool. That your dog just chewed through your whole house. That's not funny to me. I don't know. But a lot of the stuff is like that, that people are just willing to want to watch today. That just, I know I can't help you. I know there's nothing I can do to help you. There's nothing I can say, nothing I can show. I couldn't make fire come from the sky. You still wouldn't believe it. You still would reject it. You still would just run away. And when I say that, that's the dilemma that starts coming into why God was moving his people to conquer and control different areas, because they were all just wanting to reject, even when they saw the miracle in their face. They just 100% didn't care. And even someone today that would call themselves a Christian, I would say, like, you're still in the battle and the bickering, the fighting, the drama, the chaos, in the addictions, and you can't let them go. You can't get away from it. You can't get away from the drama. Can't get away from the slander. You can't get away from the anger and the rage. You just can't get away from it. So you're pushing it all out there. And you got this fake smile on, like everything's okay, but the people that are around you can see it. And that's why we have so many confused young children today that don't know who they are. Literally, if they're a boy or a girl, who they are. We've gotten so far away from knowing who we are that we no longer know what gender we are. What's next after that? I don't know if I'm a human being or not. Oh yeah, that's what's next. That's when things are I will see that lizard man, because then that's when you're gonna say to yourself, I don't know if I'm a human. I think that I'm a true cat. I mean, there's someone out there already trying to do that, right? That you're gonna start mixing yourself to figure out how to actually be able to blend them to be able to be that. So you can actually have the physical characteristics of that. That's when you start to really disgrace what God is all about, because you take what he made and just laugh at it. And then that's when, like something, I don't know if I said yesterday or the day before, about the only time that we really praise God is when tragic happens, extreme tragedy. And that's what I'm going to say that I'm nervous for, but not really at the same time. I don't care when this tragedy does happen, because it's going to have to happen. It's happening around the world already, just hasn't really happened full swing in the United States, just in a couple of places. We'll see what happens with this next weather storm that's about to come through, and we'll see what type of tragedy that happens, that brings. But it's sad that that's what we come to, because we just don't want to believe. And the only way that we can really get into it is when something extremely extreme happens to us. And I know for a fact that that's what happened to me. The only reason that I came closer to understanding who God is, because extreme tragedy happened to me. That I had no choice. I had no choice. Zero. I had to get in. I had to get involved, because I had no outs. And that's where we're headed. That's where we're headed right now. And it's interesting just watching just weather patterns and seeing what's getting attacked the most right now, and where it's getting attacked the most. It's interesting that majority of it is like non-Christian believing people areas. Like everywhere is getting attacked right now. Like China is getting destroyed right now by the weather, by rain and hail and lightning. Some places are getting windstorms that are just blowing buildings completely down. And it's very interesting how I really look at the whole world and see what's happening. That there's some places that are just, they're 100% against Jesus, and they're getting destroyed right now. But in reality, in America, it's pretty interesting, because a lot of people in America still believe, even though you're not 100% in it, but you still have some skin in the game that you're all about it. And those are the people that are gonna have to run into the situation of the tragedy happen to, because then it's gonna, in reality, have to force you to go which way. Which way do you believe? Which way do you want? People, there's no human beings that are out here that are controlling this weather and making this stuff happen. This is God's work, God's plan. He's moving, and he's moving very swiftly. He's making some things happen. And it's very unfortunate in a way but it's an absolute blessing in another way, because it's going to be able to bring us closer as a people in the end, as opposed to where we're just so divided right now. We're so divided, and there's going to come a time that that division is going to be, in reality, one that's going to have to take over the other. And it's going to have to bring you down to what your real core values and beliefs are. That we're going to realize that a lot of this division that's going on, just say in our own country, you're going to realize that we actually don't disagree. We agree. And you're going to have to come together to figure out how to be able to get past what's about to happen. Because what's about to happen out here it's going to be devastating. But it's going to be beautiful in a way. And I don't know why all I see is the beauty in it, because I know which side of the camp I'm on. I don't know, it's just wild. It's just wild. And I hope that if you're struggling with something, with anything, don't think that another person is going to be able to help you. Only God will. Don't think that if you just got closer to a church and got further involved in it, that listening to these people and doing all this is going to help you. It's probably going to actually hurt you even more. The only way that you're going to get some help is an intimate relationship with God and calling and seeking on Him Himself. Instead of thinking that you need a third party to get to Him, you need yourself. Stop thinking that you need to buy a $1,000 Bible reading, scripture help reading book guideline. These people are all false. You can read that book yourself and understand it yourself. I am not some highly educated Harvard law student, rocket scientist. And that book is written in a way for us to be able to read it and understand it. And that is exactly what it is, and that is exactly why God has made it, to be able to be read and understood by us, not in a way that you'll never be able to get it. There's some people out here that are trying to sell you courses, that are trying to make you think that you're stupid, that you won't be able to understand it without that, and then you'll be able to understand it. But in reality, you're going to understand it through their lens, and their lens of trying to sell you some things is a lens of misrepresenting God's word. God never said to go and sell my information so that people can learn about it. No, He says go and share it and explain it to all. And if you think that you got to pay someone to be able to get that information, those people are just straight lying to you, repeating lies over and over and over and over to try to make money off of God. And that's not at all what we as people are supposed to be doing. We don't make money. We don't make an income. And if you do make an income, because there is a specific group of people that are supposed to, they don't have an over and above. They get what they need to survive. And they've taken an oath of life to be able to just know that that's what they're all about, that they have enough to make it. They got enough food today, and they don't even know if they're going to have food tomorrow, but they know they're going to have enough food tomorrow based on their faith. That they're not storing up millions of dollars of it. They're not storing up and having all these fancy extra this and fancy that. No, they live a basic, bare minimum life, and they understand that and know that. And they don't need to sell you anything. You just need to please bring me something so that the house of God can keep on going, that can give you the information that is for free. There's no charge to learn the commandments. There's no charge to learn the laws of the land and how we should be, the certain things of how we're supposed to intermingle with our family, and how we're supposed to deal with someone that steals from you, how to deal with someone that gets hurt by an animal. Someone gets hurt by my animal. That book states what should happen about that. That I don't need no Texas law or no U.S. government law to say anything, because in reality, those are set up the same way. It's like they looked at the Bible and they were like, these are pretty good rules, pretty good laws. Let's go ahead and slap that on the books. That's all they did. It's all the same. I don't need any of that to figure out how to be able to live. It's already there for us. That I already know what to do if you want to come and break into my house, and you break in at night, you break in during the day. There's a big difference in both. I know what to do, because the Bible says all of this stuff. And it's not a matter of you got to pay someone to figure it out. You just got to get your time in and figure it out. I would hope that it doesn't take something disastrous to happen to you for you to get closer to God. That you would just seek Him and ask for Him and allow Him to come to you before things get hard. But I just know that we as humans, that's not the way it works. But I would just, that's something that I would say today from any other time of life. And I hope that you just ask them. Just say, hey man, I need you. I know some things are getting hard and things are getting difficult. And I would like to be in your good graces to figure out how to be able to just dance through these problems. So when these problems do come, I could just, I don't have to worry about it because I know where I'm going and I'm good to go. Because we're going to be staying here and have to do some stuff. Some people are going to be taken off and taken away I feel bad for that person in reality. Because this land here is an absolute blessing to be about. That we want to be able to stay here. Because every time that the people that don't believe in God and want to completely go against Him, they get taken off this land. And we got the misunderstanding that a rapture means that we're going to fly away and God's going to take us. No, we're staying here. And then when God comes back, we're staying here. And then the people that have all passed, that are asleep right now, are all going to come back. And they'll be judged. And then in the end, we'll be judged that are still standing on this land, if we happen to be on the land on that day. Every time that God's got to get rid of some people, He gets rid of them. He doesn't keep them around. He keeps around the ones that He wants to be able to do the work for Him. I hope that you just have it in you to just understand that this world is much greater than you. And who cares what someone has to say about you because of what you want to pursue into? The whole world is going to just completely reject you. Who cares? The whole world is going to reject you when you just get inspiration to say, I want to do this. And then we're like, what? That's stupid. And you say, well, okay, I want to do it. And I want to get good at it. And I want to be a professional at it. And the whole world is going to look at you and just, that's the stupidest thing ever. You're wasting your time. Just go, why would you do that? We spent all this time and put you in this and did this, and for you to just only do that? Cool. Who cares what they got to say? I'm telling you, I hope that you could just have it in you to have God to have your back instead of thinking that you can even have your own back. Have God to be able to rely upon. Thank you.